What's going on YouTube? Uberman here. This is probably the most important video I have ever published regarding Uber, and this is an absolutely must watch. I want you to watch this video regardless of whether you are in a current rate cut, whether Uber is currently offering the incentive bonuses, or whether everything is just peachy and everything's completely normal in your area. They started January 9th with rate cuts in 48 or 49 cities, and they are slowly pushing them out in other areas. I've been getting messages from other drivers. In fact, just today, I was getting messages saying that rates are being cut in their areas. So they apparently were trying this out, and it seems to be working, and they are pushing this out in other areas. So there's a very good possibility that even though your area may be doing just fine and everything is just normal today, tomorrow you might get the same email that I got. Guys, I got no warning. I woke up one day and everything was changed. Everything was different. Now, here's the deal, okay? This video is only going to be applicable in an area where the rates have been cut and they are now doing, I call them the subsidies, because that's what it is. They're giving drivers a subsidy for basically not being able to make enough money to make $12 an hour or whatever. In different areas it's different. Like there's some places it's 18 an hour and like 26 an hour during peak and off peak. In my area, off peak is $12 an hour and peak hours are $22 an hour. Now, everything that I have learned throughout my 15 months driving for Uber is completely wrong. It's irrelevant. It's backwards. It's completely worthless. In fact, everything that I know and everything that I've been doing for Uber using these new subsidies has been detrimental to my income. I have been seriously negatively affecting my cash flow by doing what I've always done for Uber. Let's start with the basics. This really is pretty simple. You just have to accept it, and that's a hard thing to do. Change is hard. Even when it's very simple, accepting something like this is difficult. But the fact is, this is how it is. This is how it works. And we have to accept it. And the best part is, we can use it to our advantage. We really can. We cannot beat the Uber system, okay? But we sure as hell can give it a run for its money. And we can definitely make sure they feel the impact of their subsidies on their end. Now let me try to keep this as simple as possible. I don't want to complicate it with numbers or anything else. I'm just gonna give it to you straight. So we got these new subsidies. Okay, we're guaranteed $12 an hour so long as we meet all, you know, the requirements, right? 90% acceptance rate, 50 minutes per hour online, one average ride per hour during the times that you were online. And you have the reset periods. You have the time slots, which are from midnight to 6 a.m., 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., 5 p.m. to midnight. Okay, we're not even going to get into the peak or anything. We're just going to try to keep this simple. Okay, now you have to do a lot of things to get your subsidy. You cannot clock in on the half-hour mark. You need to be clocking in on the hour and clocking out on the hour. Otherwise, there's a good chance you're not going to get paid for the half hour, and it's going to affect your entire week. Now, if you manage to figure out the new rates and the new hours and the time slots and the reset periods, if you manage to figure all of this out, and I've got 3 videos on, so I'm not going into it, go watch all of my videos regarding the new rates, the subsidies, and how everything works so that you can get a better understanding of it. That's not what this video is for. We are assuming that you understand and you are able to meet your guarantees. Okay? You're happy. Let me tell you what happened to me the other day. Every day this week, I have not made the minimum guarantee of $12 an hour. At 80 cents a mile, that's really hard to do. So, Uber has been giving the subsidy. Well, every day for the hours that I work, since I have met the requirements, every day Uber is paying me $86.40. Well, Thursday, I made over what the Uber subsidy would have been. Instead of getting paid $86.40, I made $119 and change. Now, here's the way I thought this was going to work. I'll get paid $86.40 for each one of those days. And then on Thursday, I'll get my $119. And then, of course, on Friday and Saturday, you do more. You get to keep that. But on the days that you didn't, Uber gives you that subsidy. That is not how it works. Now, I have not gotten my own payout yet to prove this. But there is another driver that, he's really the reason for this. I'm not going to give his name out or anything. He watches the videos. He knows who he is. If he wants to be known, he'll comment under here and say, hey, it was me. But the shout out goes to him because he's the one that had a discrepancy on his pay statement from last week. Now, I, along with a few other drivers, we have been collaborating. We have been sending emails to Uber, and quite honestly, we have not gotten anything back. I didn't even get a response. After I kept pointing out their problems and then finally gave them conflicting emails, they stopped answering me. I've gotten nothing back from them. Another driver did get something back, but it was just a generic statement that honestly didn't answer a single thing. I read it twice. That driver read it, and we were like, it's a page, it has words, but it says nothing. This gentleman, I guess I gave that away. Okay, anyway, there's a lot of gentlemen working with Uber. This gentleman noticed a discrepancy. He brings it to Uber's attention. Of course, they come back with some generic thing. He goes back with something else. So this is a pretty intelligent guy, okay? So he's not somebody you're just going to jip over and try to throw some numbers at him. He's just going to be like, oh, yeah, okay. They threw some numbers at him, and he threw some numbers back and said, well, even using your math, this doesn't work. And he wrote it all out and gave it to them, and at that point, this was beyond the typical customer service representative. They couldn't handle this, so it had to be escalated to upper management. Well, it took a little while, but management got a hold of it, and they responded, and their response shocked me. I have the copy of the email right here, but I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to put it out there. Hopefully you guys trust me. There's no reason for me to be on here lying. It doesn't benefit me in any way, shape, or form. But let me tell you what's happening. Uber, on this gentleman's particular case, and if they're doing it for him, you can pretty much be guaranteed that's how they do it for everybody. They have a pretty standardized system. They're not going to treat different drivers all kinds of different ways and change payouts for everybody. Now, this is a very standardized system, and if this is what they did to him, this is pretty much what you can expect them to do to you and to myself. They average the entire week, guys. If you don't make the minimums on, say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because let's face it, 80 cents a mile, how the hell are you going to average $12 an hour? It's almost impossible. Unless you get a lot of really short runs with minimum fares, I don't see how you're going to do it. And even if you do, you are going to be driving like crazy, racking up mileage and spending money on gas just to make that. So chances are you can't. Chances are you cannot average $12 an hour on a given day of the week. Now, the exception is Fridays and Saturdays, right? I'm still seeing surge prices every Friday and Saturday we see surge prices. May not be much, but we do see surge prices. Okay, so the email that Uber sent us, along with the information that we have been given, which is very limited, it makes the majority of us think, oh, I'm guaranteed $12 an hour for every day with every shift that I work. I will get, as long as I meet the requirements, I will get $12 an hour. So you think that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, hey, I got my $12 an hour for those days. I'm getting paid this amount of money. On Friday, you make some bank. You go over that and you think, I'm going to get paid whatever I made that day. On Saturday, same deal. You make over, you think, oh, I'm going to get paid for that day. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because what they do is they take an average, assuming, again, you met all your requirements. They don't do it by every 24-hour period throughout 7 days. They average the entire week as one. Okay, so you have for one entire week, you don't get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the money Friday and the money Saturday. You don't get to keep it. What they do is They take your entire week off peak, your entire week on peak. They take the hours you were online, and they figure out throughout the whole week, did you average your $12 an hour off peak? And did you average your $22 an hour on peak? So, if you didn't, which obviously you're not going to, even with a good Friday and a good Saturday, the rest of the week that it was crap, Uber had to subsidize that so that you can have your $12 an hour. You don't get to keep the money. Uber takes that extra money that you made, guys, because you are not going to average the $12 an hour throughout the whole week or the $22 an hour throughout the peak hours of the end of the week. It's not going to happen. And when you do make that good money, you don't get it. It goes back to Uber. It helps to cover what they are subsidizing you throughout the week. All right, I hope you get what I'm saying. I get $86.40 a day. On Thursday, I made $119. I'm not going to get that $119, guys, because at the end of the week, come Monday at 4 o'clock, they're going to look at my whole week, my off-peak hours, and they're going to say he didn't make minimums this day, this day, this day, this day, but he went over this day and he went over this day. Well, they're going to average out the entire week what I made, and because it didn't come out to $12 an hour throughout the week, I only get an average of $12 an hour for the whole week, as many hours as I was online. Anything extra you make on one day or another day, they take, and they put it back into Uber to help cover the subsidy. Same thing with the on-peak hours, guys. And like I said, this is somebody else. I've seen the emails. This came from not your regular Uber partner support. This came from a little bit higher up. And it is, according to them, an average. So if you're expecting to be getting extra money from the days that you made more, you can hang it up, because they are going to take it as an average for the entire week. Now, let me explain to you how this is costing you more money than you probably realize. Because of how they're doing it, what you're doing, you see surge pricing, and you're like, man, gotta hit that surge to make that money. That's what they want you to do. They want you, because that's how we've always been trained. We see surge, we're like, money, money, money. You don't get that money, guys. Surge pricing is no longer for our benefit. Surge pricing is for Uber's benefit, because they put that back towards the subsidies they've been paying out. I really hope you're getting, I don't know how else to explain it. Surge price, we have been trained for this, guys. We have been molded for this because we are already set in our ways. Surge pricing is good. Surge pricing means money. We got to work. Got to take as many runs as possible during surge pricing. Exactly. Because all the runs that we're taking, it's going right back into Uber's pocket. Now, I promise you, they don't want you to know this, because the more people that know this and understand it, the more people are going to figure out there's kind of a way around it. There is a way to beat the system. Let me tell you how to do it. Okay. In order to get the subsidy, you have to take a certain amount of runs in a certain amount of hours. This varies depending on how many hours you work. Okay, if you work 6 hours, then you need to take 6 runs. All right? Here's the thing. Here's how you beat it. Get yourself to a high traffic area. Doesn't matter where it is. Find a high traffic area. Knock out your 6 runs. Go home. Unless you live in a high traffic area, then that's not going to work for you. Find a place that is not so busy, but that is still in Uber's coverage area, where you're still online and in their map. Okay? Only attempt to do the number of runs required to get you through your shift, and then take as few runs as possible the rest of the time. Because it doesn't matter how good you do. On the bad days where you don't make the minimums, they're going to take the good days and it's going to just go right back into the subsidies. So you're not going to get any money. What you're doing is you're taking a lot of extra runs that are unnecessary. You're wasting miles, you're wasting gas, and mileage accumulates, which leads to maintenance and repairs. You're wasting your gas, and all of that money that you're not going to see, basically you're driving for free. You're still going to make the same $12 an hour, but you're giving money back to Uber. So, tonight, normally I would have taken 18 runs or so. It's a Friday. Let me tell you what I did. I came home, which is kind of out of the way from everything. You want to know how many runs I took tonight? 8. Did I still get a couple of pings while I was sitting here? Yeah, you're not going to get out of it completely. You won't get out of taking some runs. But let's figure this out, okay? Instead of taking 18 runs on a Friday night, I took 8. That's 10 less runs, which means I saved gas, I saved miles, and better than that, I saved myself money and time, and it cost Uber. Uber's got to pay me the same because I met my minimums every single night. And that's what you need to do. Meet your minimums. Do what you got to do to get those in, and then get the heck out of Dodge to a slower traffic area where you may still have to take a run or two, but basically drive as little as possible after you get your runs in to make your minimums. Okay? Anything over the 6 runs in 6 hours or 8 runs in 8 hours, anything over that is money that you are giving back to Uber because it is not going to you. It's not going in your pocket. It's going in Uber's. Surge pricing no longer applies to us. It does not help us. Surge pricing simply helps Uber cover the subsidy that they're paying us throughout the rest of the week. That's it. I hope this is helpful. I hope you understand, and let me know what you think. Of course, I will be doing another video on Tuesday when the payouts come through, when I know what everything actually is. I'll do a complete video on that. But you need to know this while you're out here busting your humps, especially with Saturday coming. Like, comment, subscribe. Be safe out there, and Uber on.